Hey everybody, Don and Ash here,
Hello.
back for another reaction video. This time we're going to be taking a look at episode 2 or part 2 of Arcane's Bridging the Rift. This has been a long time coming. It's only been a couple days now, but I feel like it's been a long time coming just because like the first one we delayed so long. This one is called Persistence, and in brackets it says, or when your best still sucks, which, yeah, as an artist, you may relate to
Yeah,
this.
I'm
I was
just
going to
like,
say,
oh, my
I don't
little
want
artist soul feels that one.
yeah, I don't want to put it all on you. I mean, like, as a musician, I totally feel this. As an entrepreneur, I totally feel this.
Yeah.
As a, delivering final products to clients and then they crap on it, totally feel this.
Yep.
So that's happened. So that kind of sucks. But I can't wait to see how they battled past that adversity or those hurdles and those
Yeah.
challenges and how they got past them and all the uphill battle they had to do to kind of convince corporate that this is worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't really have anything to say more than that. I'm just ready to hop in.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see more of this behind the scenes story.
Cool. Let's get into it. Flashing and strobing. Here we go. What is truth but a survivor's story? Yeah, whatever, Soko.
Managing Fortiche is like, sometimes I feel like a band manager. Like, guys, you're doing whatever you want, but I want you on stage at this time for the concert and the gig. And they're always on time at the end. So you have to trust them.
That's right.
So we are in 2017, and everybody is working really hard to deliver the pilot. And then we had a discussion with Riot, explaining to us that we're not happy with the script, with episode 2 and episode 3. At the end of the call, we were like, have they really said that? I think we have misunderstood them. When we arrived in LA, and then it was, hey guy, yes, we want to do a pause on the production, put everything on hold.
Wow.
Like, oh my gosh, that was true.
Yeah, that's so crushing when a client doesn't like your work that you literally worked your hardest on.
Yeah.
Like, the worst feeling. Nice studio.
I was just gonna
Everything's
say.
going to shit right now.
I guess that was pretty much at the point where they had drafted together a couple of scripts and sort of a show bible for the entire season. The next thing I know, Christian mysteriously gets pulled into a meeting, and then it was like a strange intervention where a bunch of other rioters basically told him that it sucked.
Oh,
It
no.
was such a blow to the team to just feel like, man, we're being told to stop completely and potentially even find different showrunners, different writers for the whole thing.
You know, you've been killing yourself, to try and make it work and try and figure it out, and your first thought, of course, is just like, is it dead?
We were really only able to hire all these animators with the promise that there would be a full season to work on, because they're very, very talented, and you really only get them if you have something kind of worth committing to, like a multi-year project.
Okay, hold on. I just want to quickly pause and say, Alex, the show writer, he must have been absolutely crushed, like being the lead writer.
Like, devastated.
And honestly, I have huge goosebumps right now, like seeing
Same.
that we have the experience that we have with season 1 now. We know that obviously the writing was amazing, but at this point, I guess the script could have been a little bit different. But still, being that I would assume Alex had a big part to do with how the final script came out, he was probably crushed.
I was gonna say, just soul crushed.
Yeah, I mean, like, so everybody else too, but if they said the writing is like, we're not
specifically,
yeah, like,
specifically the writing.
Damn. All right.
Whew.
So we just kind of had this feeling like we're gonna have to tell all these people that we just hired, they have to be like,
Could you imagine?
I don't know, it's just like the worst thought.
I think Alex and I just felt like we suck. Like we failed,
Christian's a tortured artist who can't let himself not do something great.
I feel that so much.
He will will it into existence because he will beat himself up and lose sleep and go crazy.
There were a lot of times during my career at Riot so far where I needed someone like Brandon or Mark to explore some pretty wild ideas. Where a lot of people would say, like, no one in the video game industry has full-time composers, like we can just hire someone from the outside as a freelancer to make some music for us.
Hell no. Not good enough.
Or why would we make music videos? That's insane. You know, like video game companies don't make music videos. Back then, it was Mark and Brandon who kind of saw the idea and like how awesome this could be, and they took bets on, you know, me being able to figure it out.
Woo!
So then, in the meeting, everyone left. It was just Brandon and me, and basically, I think Brandon kind of took like the moment to kind of tell me, hey, like, we'll figure it out. You know, like, we trust you. You know, like, we'll figure it out.
Aw.
And I just started crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Christian's
can tell.
biggest fear is letting players down.
I'm like,
He
tears are
crushes
welling in my
himself
eyes.
over it. It's actually painful for those closest to him to sort of watch, and it gives you so much respect and appreciation, and ultimately trust in what he decides to take responsibility and ownership for.
Heck yeah.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our decision to delay the further production of the follow-up episodes of Arcane.
I remember, I think I've recorded like 16 different versions of this video because I just always was just kind of sitting there like,
And I wanted to give you guys some more information about it, you know, why, what our plan is, and so on. And I'm sure you've heard from...
We did not show this.
Oh.
The question was, if we start with that, everybody will cry, everybody will jump out of the window.
I finally made a version of the video that I felt like was okay, and I sent it to them, only to learn a few weeks later that they were like, yeah, we never showed it to anyone because you just looked so depressed. You look like you want to kill yourself. Like, how could we ever show that to anyone?
So it was like a harsh time.
I gotta pause there again to say, like, it's the disbelief that is coursing through my veins that the team understood, I guess the Fortiche leaders understood how much pain Christian was going through,
Yeah.
and they, in faith, made the decision to not show it to their team because I guess they just believed so much. Like, something about that video, ticked them off that, like, that was the video to literally tell their team to stop working, basically, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, we're good.
I just got these like body chills because like it's so humbling to see like that whole interaction.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So we had to let the team go, which is always very painful. You're not sure they're going to be able to come back because if they go to another production, you might lose them.
We knew that we wouldn't have work for them for the months to come. So we started talking to different teams at Riot and started asking people, hey, is there anything we can do, like a music video or anything that could just keep, the lights on at Fortiche? We talked to the esports team and there was a desire to make a music video.
You gotta be kidding me, that's the one that they made. This video is absolutely, I just can't, like, you gotta be kidding me. These are some of the greatest video game animations I've ever seen.
Like, hands down.
For someone who doesn't play the game. It's like the hypest thing. Like, it's the same, I mean, the one that crowns it for me, I don't think anything will ever make me feel like Diablo made me feel. But
that aside.
Yeah, these are insane. Like you don't have to play the game because the issues that they show in these animations are very relatable.
Yeah.
Like it's not about just rising through the ranks of a video game. It's literally like rising through life. Like pick yourself up and rise.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The lyrics are so relatable to any part of life, and that's, I think, why these did so well.
Yeah. They just know how to hit home.
Unreal.
Which became the Rise music video, and then we started talking to the music team, and they were working on something like a crazy idea about a K-pop group.
So they did 2 music videos with us, which I think are still some of the best, if not the 2 best, on our YouTube channel.
Thank God, Alex and I are shit at our jobs, because if we hadn't taken that extra time to develop the story, the KDA Pop Stars music video and the Rise music video would have never happened.
Ces deux clips nous ont permis aussi de résoudre certains petits problèmes techniques qu'on pouvait avoir qu'on avait pu avoir sur le pilote et d'affirmer un peu plus le style de la série.
So, you're welcome.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Poor cripple from the Undercity. I was an outsider the moment I stepped foot in Piltover. I didn't have the benefits of a patron or a name. I simply believed in myself.
At that point, the idea was I had to replace myself as like the person in charge of figuring out the story. Of course, it was me and Alex, but I was responsible. We just knew we had to hire someone who's experienced as a showrunner and as writers and that kind of stuff. And that's what we tried to do. Except we couldn't really find anyone. 6 years ago, if you pitched that the video company was gonna do like an animated series that is looking for like drama screenwriters, no one really showed up. Or it was just, people were in for the wrong reasons, where it was like, well, I mean, League of Legends and Riot is big, but they didn't really care about the characters that much. So we looked for quite a while, and at some point...
Cool. This is
Wow.
this is like, if there's one thing as a child that I've always wanted to experience, honestly, it's taking a picture at the orc statue in front of the Blizzard campus.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot even explain how cool that would be. I think that it's insanely cool that I always talk about Blizzard because I have more knowledge about them as a company, but this is really cool. The Annie and her Tibbers
yeah.
statue, and it looks like in this frame that we have it paused on, it almost looks animated. Like it doesn't look real in this frame right here, so I'm not even sure if it is. But if there is a statue like that inside, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I just think, the more you can bring these characters of passion to life, the more you get connected to the whole universe, which then it's easy for the whole business side of the, here's my money, like take my money.
Yeah.
Like it becomes so easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think that more companies need to follow this suit of really fleshing out their worlds and making it more than just a game or just a book or just a this.
Yeah.
Cool.
I keep saying I'm just not I'm just like in awe that this thing exists.
Yeah, I mean, does it? This frame looks okay. Let's continue. But yeah.
We just felt like maybe we'll just kind of have to try again, but be less shitty.
That's right.
And then it was just start over. Look at what we do. That's when we started talking to showrunners. Like who could we bring in to just be an advisor?
That's when we found Monica Macer. She was a showrunner. She worked on Lost, was someone who was really passionate about mentoring people. And
God, I hate that show.
Find the right way to realize our vision, without necessarily being like, here's what you have to do. More just about here's all about the process of how to craft a season, how to think about developing characters.
And then we hired, a bunch of writers who'd worked in various capacities in TV. So, Amanda was one of those writers.
I know. It's so good. It's so good.
You're like always trying to get into the heads of your characters in any way you can. I did have one of the writers teach me how to shoot a gun, like a sniper gun, right before I was gonna write Caitlin's episode last year.
That's cool.
Yeah, what?
We're in my house, and I have a little office here where I do my writing.
Nice. Can you show me that?
Sure. Then, into my nook. I have these lights I turn on at night to sort of inspire me. There we go.
They'll
There it
have
is.
scripts that they'll send over to you as kind of a sample of their work. And Amanda, I think with hers, it was comic book video game scientist. And her story was about a future world where we've colonized the moon. And I was like, this seems like it could be a good fit for us.
I would prefer not to have a punching bag in my living room, but that's just what we do right now. So I actually never thought about how my kung fu translates to learning how Vi's a fighter.
Rotten luck, boys.
But there's a fight scene in episode 5 of season 1.
Yeah, there
which,
is.
Is the episode I wrote. One of the things I'm like so proud of is it's like between two women with like a different body type, different, like both like really muscular. They're doing moves that you haven't necessarily seen women do before on screen. I always think of fight scenes as like being just like another talking drama scene. Like there has to be a turn, there has to be motivations, you have to learn something new about the character in the fight that you didn't know before.
I'll give her your regards.
I'm like, what did we
And then, of
learn in these
course,
fight scenes?
She's saved by another woman. 3 women in a fight scene. It's fucking dope. So
Amanda just has a really honest voice in her dialogue that is just really grounded emotionally. I remember this moment when Alex and I were really wrestling with the last words that Jinx was saying to Vi in season 1. And then like Amanda took the script and solved it in like, I don't know, an hour.
I thought maybe you could love me like you used to. Even though I'm different.
A Jinx!
But you changed too. So, here's to the new us.
I want to see the other versions.
And Alex and I were just like, yep, that's it. And we just couldn't do that, you know?
I think the biggest change from the way that we were looking at it before was it was very plot heavy, right? It's very focused on kind of like, what's the problem that has to get solved? Who's going to fight who? What I think most improved after kind of working with these writers was sort of like the emotional story for the characters.
I'm quite proud of the cold open too, the like whole beginning of the season with the bridge. The cold open used to be the cold open from episode 3 when Silco was drowning. I sort of went out on a limb being like, so guys, I know you hired me to help out with the show and whatever, but you need to change the pilot. That's a lovely poetic image, right? But it wasn't telling the story of the series, which is these 2 sisters being torn apart.
That's when I came in as a CEO, taking this big role with the idea of becoming a multi-game developer and a multi-game publisher, which on its own is a really difficult challenge to go from that one hit to multiple games. And then there was this little curveball, and oh, and by the way, we have this TV show, which probably is going to cost us, you know, a massive 9-digit budget. There is a lot of risk in this.
To be completely honest,
gotta spend money to make money, bro.
We're always on like completely opposite spectrums. He's a business person. He's someone who's just extremely smart.
Yeah, no, I'm getting the same impression of this guy. Like, I understand things he's saying, but it doesn't seem like he's connected to the passion of the story. It doesn't seem like he's connected creatively to where a story can go. So when I hear him speak between this episode so far and last episode, he is very business oriented. And, I guess that's a good thing, but you do have to have balance on a team. If, he was leader, I don't think that this would be made at all, which is what I'm trying to say. So it's good that there's people to like challenge each other at these levels.
Yeah.
So that, the outcome is some sort of amicable middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I want to see more of these original plots of these stories and stuff, because although I'm happy with where it ended up, I want to know where did it come from? Like what changes had to be made to bring it where it was? When you hear Christian and Alex talking about the plot they made was like, very problem heavy and trying to figure out a solution to these problems per episode, rather than telling the emotional story. I'm like, okay, well, telling an emotional story makes sense, and it's not like they're not solving problems. I just think the problems that they solve are just a little bit more sporadic, and you get a lot of emotion throughout the very kind of sporadic problem solving.
Yeah.
So cool.
In like a rational way, he doesn't really let himself get carried away by like his emotions or like by his own personal attachment to anything. And I'm the opposite. I always have opinions. I'm always emotionally attached to the stuff that I work on. I'm an artiste, I guess.
Christian, actually, I remember I bring him in my office to say, hey, we've decided if we're gonna fund you for a full season. He had done the pilot. And we paused, and I told him like we're not gonna fund a full season for Arcane. And then I told him like I think it's really important you understand why, because you and I can be on a different page, but it's very important you understand where I'm coming from.
Corporate sucks.
And the reason I'm not going to validate you to move to a full season is because I'm going to allow you to move to multiple seasons.
Yeah.
I was like, you better have said that.
I trolled him a bit.
You little jerk.
I think he was really pissed at me for that.
So
I was hoping that.
Definitely gave me the trust that
You little a-hole.
develop Arcane the way that Fortiche and our team at Riot needed to do it, which was not the easy way, but like really this like pursuit of like, hey, this is what we think our audience wants, and it's ambitious and crazy, but we need you to trust us, and he did.
And I want to know why he did that. What was the thing that he saw, right? That's where I'm at. I'm like, what did he saw? What was the proof to him that, I mean, they had already got the new writers on, the showrunners and the advisors and stuff like that. So I'm like, was it just a revised script that he saw? Or what was it that gave him that? I'm like, for a business person, I still feel like there had to have been some sort of emotional something that blossomed in him.
There's got to be enough of like a spark for him to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, there had to be something that wasn't business oriented, because this is a pitch that's coming from people that aren't business oriented. They're trying to pitch a story, right? So,
yeah. Christian's like, dang it, let me do it.
Yeah, no, I forgot that guy's name already, the business guy, but I would love to know what was it to him, if he goes on to explain it, that made him, kind of flip the switch.
Yeah.
You need to stay committed to players because nothing's going to be easy. There will be many moments where you want to give up. I know Christian went through this multiple times. We went through this multiple times, and you need to have the grit and the courage to continue for players. So.
As we were looking at trying to scale a lot more, and we had season 1 in production, and we started to think about how are we going to do the first development of season 2 at the same time. That's when we started looking for someone to help figuring out the production scale a bit more.
It was tough because we couldn't find the right culture fit. A lot of people kind of shied away from like, hey, this isn't normal TV, this isn't normal animation. I think I'm just gonna go, insert any animation studio out there, right?
I gotta pause that right there. That totally triggers me. That totally triggers me of like in my own business, of people just consistently, you have no idea how many times I've run up against this wall of people not wanting to try something new, not wanting to believe in my vision as a creator.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting here in the back of my head, because I can't say it as a professional. I'm like, are you dumb? It would be so good. What is wrong with you? And I get so pissed off, honestly. I hate it that so many people didn't see the potential in this, or didn't take a chance or a risk, or just wanted to go back to, well, I'm just going to go back to what worked, because that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. Bro, that's why TV sucks. Honestly, that's why Lost, in my opinion, that's why Lost went to crap. Lost was an amazing show, and, I'm gonna hate on anybody for that show. It was an amazing show. I loved that show when it came out. And it's probably one of the last series that I followed, even though I wasn't watching TV at the time. I was downloading episodes, right? But that was one of the last shows that I followed until it started they started losing the direction of the show. I don't know why that happened, specifically different franchise and everything like that, but it does bother me that, people were just willing to go back to the same old crap.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I never watched Lost.
Good. Oh, yo,
I didn't watch Lost. I don't know anything about it.
You have saved yourself all the.
That's why I'm just like, okay, like I'm taking it.
No, that was the worst.
I honestly didn't watch it. I didn't know anything about it.
If anybody has watched that show, like, come on, like season 3 up to season 3 was great, and then after that, it was like, what the hell is going on with this show, man?
Oh no!
It's literally like that show and The Walking Dead were two greats that I think had really good early arcs.
Yeah,
and both crashed.
The Walking Dead, I could agree with. I've seen the first
same
3
thing
and
with Lost.
whatever, or the first couple and then whatever.
Same thing.
But yeah, I totally agree that it's too bad that those people didn't see the potential. I mean, they probably do now.
No, but yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, and that's when regret is the most clear. That's when you can see regret clear as day in the mirror, right?
Like, man, to be someone to be like, I could have worked on that.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to work on
damn.
one of the greatest animated shows, probably of all time. Like honestly.
But yeah, anyway.
Sucks to be them. Moving on.
But finally, one time I got connected with a woman named Melinda Dilger.
Hey guys, come
Hi,
on.
Melinda. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Welcome.
Nice house.
To Casa de Dilger.
Yeah, no kidding.
I work here because of COVID. This is Willie Nelson. He's the boss of Arcane right here. He's in all the meetings. He loves it. He loves his job. Yes.
Great.
I just loved talking to her. She had such a warm energy. And
Yeah.
She just also had experience. Like, I mentioned some of the issues that we were dealing with, and she seemed unfazed by it.
This is where all my meetings happen. It's very exciting. This is where I burn off my energy. And I got that when I worked on Mary Poppins Returns, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Just a
I
bit,
remember
yeah.
sitting down, all of the stakeholders, and I think I literally told them, you better not fuck this up. I like her. She's awesome. If you fuck this up, I'm going to kill you.
I was everything by the time I was 24.
Wow.
When I was really young.
I mean,
I worked on
whatever. If
Darkwing
you went to
Duck.
school
That
for
was
it.
my very first animated show to be on as a production assistant. I was working on Goof Troop, Aladdin. I won an Annie Award. That's kind of a big deal right here. This is very proud of this. Very nice. I know
Good
whenever
for you,
people
girl.
tell me, they're like, oh my gosh, I watched that as a child. I'm like, oh, I'm so old. But it's okay.
I have no idea what an
Okay.
Annie Award is.
You know, now everybody looks at me and they say, we're so glad we have somebody with so much experience on the show, which really equates to old, but it's okay. I can take it, you know. Riot's a very young company.
And I am rolling. All right, I think you've had enough, mate.
Yeah, the team health when I first started wasn't so great. Everyone was like, I was like, man, this team, they need some lovin'. They need some lovin'.
Making the show that we kind of set out with Arcane, you know, with the right designs for these characters that work in our IP, you know, this fantasy world.
The pursuit of creative work is complex. If your expectation is that you're gonna work on something creatively where you're gonna have no pressure or no feeling of like being overwhelmed at times, then you're working on something the world is gonna forget.
By then, I think I was super exhausted because I was like 3 years into the project or something. I know Christian was exhausted, Alex was beat, and like she brought in that new energy and just sort of this like, yep, let's pick it up and let's go.
How are you guys feeling? Are you exhausted? Are you okay to keep going? From what I was hearing, it was just taking them a long time to kind of get their bearings. And let's face it, Fortiche, our animation partner studio in Paris, they had also never produced a series. So you have a bunch of newbies trying to figure this out, and lo and behold, it is really a difficult process, and it's a challenging one, even for those of us that have been in the business for a really long time. You missed a really long, important strategy meeting that answers all the questions of the universe.
That was a Rosebud meeting.
For Riot and beyond. Rosebud
You're
meeting.
missing the Rosebud.
Melinda was always someone that is extremely inspiring to the team and creating a team atmosphere where it's okay when things are tough, as long as you just kind of believe in the team and have the right dream together.
Like, you know, well, you know, you can get everything in New York like that. Oh, gee. Oh, God, I can't. Oh.
See, you guys didn't think you'd be on behind the scenes, and here you are. There's Eric Bergman, our post supervisor. Hi,
Hello.
Eric's used to all the publicity. Eric, you're on mute. See, this is what we do every Zoom call.
Hello.
Somebody's always on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I just came in and kind of rolled up my sleeves and went from department by department, just trying to get everybody together and get to know each individual on the team as a person.
Oh, she's such a mom.
French studio and there's no wine, but you have IPA.
It's like there's two teams, the beer team and the wine team.
Well, where's the wine? And that's part of building team trust. And then you can start to actually solve the problems.
Pause. Are they having beer on lunch or something like that? Can I go work there? Like, what is this? This seems so lax, man. Awesome. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the rules are there, wherever they are at, but like, you know, like that's the kind of like look down on here. Like, you don't go have a beer at lunch when you're at work, right? Like, I feel like either of these are like after work meetings or something, but like they've showed that rooftop, you know, area a couple times where they're just like talking about beer or wine or somebody's got a beer, and I'm just like, they're so. What?
They're just like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is how we do.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm moving there. I'm done here. Yeah, later.
Dig deep. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, she's such a mom. She's got big mom energy.
Yeah.
So
Big heart
this is
gold.
our production schedule. In March of 2020, that's when this started. And then it goes all the way through the last episode. Because this is the first series Riot's ever done, a lot of things are getting figured out and developed as we go along in production. So it's taking a little bit longer than it typically would on a television series that's all thought out. Everything's figured out way ahead of time. This is like, how can we make this more unique and more special than any other show on television? Let's take our time and do it right. And if it takes us a little bit longer to get those scripts done, that's what we do.
There's a natural balance of power, and you just gave everybody nukes. Congratulations, you fucked up, right?
This is the thing that's always been a little fuzzy to me, is just kind of how we end this episode with the Victor Singe thing.
Yes, I would love to bring Vi back into Caitlin's mind in this episode in some way. I wrote like something about missing Vi that I have not solved yet either.
And to kind of like take the IP that's there from the games and turn it into something really awesome for television is a challenge. They're going to spend more money than most people to get it there, but they're doing it because they love the players and they want the players to be happy. And it's special. It's like you don't just see them as these little tiny things walking across the screen. By putting them on television, they have soul and they're deep and you can relate to them.
One of the biggest questions we had, though, was, can this be sustained over 6 hours? Will people watch something like this and fall into the immersion of the animation?
Yes.
Yeah, you're thinking too much, bro. Just do it.
Do you actually have that quality to mesmerize an audience?
Yes.
By staring at two characters, not saying a word.
I'm like, I gotta pause it here. I'm like, yes. The answer is unequivocally yes. Like, you don't. I feel like, I don't know. Like, I have probably maybe in further episodes, I'm gonna see things where I kind of have a better understanding from a cinematographer's perspective, because I'm just like, okay, most of the stuff's in animated 3D space, right, and worked on by multiple people. So I'm wondering if at any point did they get a cinematographer to come in and teach them or show them about different angles, about how to move their camera in 3D space.
Yeah.
And have that, just that kind of angle to just like answer Christian's question. Are you able to captivate, an audience just by staring at a scene without words? And my answer is unequivocally yes, because I know, like, some of the most emotional things that I've ever put together in video, say, like, an easy thing is like wedding videos, right? Where moments where, like, the daughter or the bride or whoever sees, like, their grandpa or their dad, just like a parent walking, the bride or groom down the aisle or something, and it's just like no words, but the most emotional thing you've ever seen. And you can bawl your eye. There are times when, like, I have not been able to complete a video, and it's just scenes and music because I am bawling my eyes out, trying to get it together.
Yeah, honestly, like, I feel like the quiet moments or silent moments, they're just as important as anything else that could be being said.
Obviously,
like they still carry so much weight to them.
Obviously, it's just about that, like, that balance, not just of what you're seeing, but the spatial balance of everything from video to audio, to even just like negative space lines. It's just everything. It's everything coming together to make to create a feeling, really.
It's all between them and the air and the emotions. We all want to take animation to this place of mature drama, subtlety and nuance, style and innovation, but it doesn't exist, and I think we together can do it.
Cool. Is that the end there? I think that's the end. Yeah. hats off to them in a big way. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. I really want to know. I really want to know if they did get the kind of the influence or the advice of some sort of very experienced cinematographer as well. Because some of my favorite things about the show is actually the camera work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's from like a POV perspective. Sometimes it's just the camera. I personally am always so um, critical about um, the eye of the beholder because that's my job as a videographer. It's my job to create the perspective that you're going to enjoy and have to sit through. So I personally try to make it as great as possible, and the show for me was just that was one aspect of the show that I would say was very enjoyable, even though I may have not said it throughout the show. It's something. It's one of those like silent things throughout the show that's just it adds more than you think to
Yeah.
the final kind of feeling of what you're looking at.
Yes.
So
Undoubtedly.
yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Like my engineering style mind is always trying to figure out, ooh, why would they put it there? Or why did they do that? That's really cool. Why would they choose that angle? Or I'm like, oh my god, they couldn't have showed this if they didn't do it from that angle, or you know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
always trying to. I always think in like in the gears are always turning in my head. Yeah.
I want to say, like, especially in the fight scenes that we saw.
Oh my
Like,
god.
either between, like, Vi and Savika, or at the end when we have Jason Vi
Yeah.
battling all the Chemtech stuff. Like, again, just the movement of the camera, if they decide to, like, switch and pan down as, like, a move, like, when Savika, I think, puts Vi into the ground in one of their first fights, it just, the camera goes with her. And, like, it just, again, it adds so much to that feeling. I think the other thing I've also been thinking throughout this is it's good, very good that they brought in additional people, like outside people, like the writer and whatnot, because I think um again something that I definitely see from an artist's perspective is just, especially when you're in a group, sometimes you're just too close to your project. Like for me, like for example, when I was trying to make my own logo, it was like I got to a point where I'm like, hey, I'm too close to the project. I need outside opinions. I need outside help, that sort of thing. So it's always great to get someone's view that's not as close to your project because they'll have just a much more clear sense of maybe what you're trying to achieve or what might be a better option to go with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really necessarily agree with that just because I've been working for myself for 6 years. And I don't ever, for me, my own personal experience is that you don't, as an entrepreneur, you don't really have the opportunity, the money's sake, or the time to be honest, outsource your stuff to anybody to get that opinion. You have to be doing, you have to be wearing like 10 hats at once. And so if I did this just as a hobby, I think personally that I would maybe run into those more often. But I feel like I don't have. This is something that I have to avoid by all costs. I can't be caught up on something. Like I have to, no matter what, I have to switch my perspective. I have to look at it different. I have to figure out a way to get past that hurdle because, you know, these are paying clients. There are deadlines. There are things that you have to adhere to. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, for me personally, I think that um, time and money is something that is very important to these decisions. And when you're doing it yourself, I think that you just don't have the luxury to do that, right? So you got to figure it out yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally get that. Not every project you can be able to do that with. Um,
I'm not
it's
talking. I'm
nice
not
that they were
talking about
able to.
projects. I'm not talking about project. I'm just talking about for like profession in general, or the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
Right. So these guys are on a team, which
Yeah.
allows them to bring other people in. But if you're doing it yourself, it's just like, what do? You can't. When you get stuck, you really got to find a way to pivot essentially pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be very what's the word, malleable. Being able to shift and pivot really quickly. And I think a lot of like solo artists would tell you that, or a lot of people that are working for themselves in business would absolutely tell you that, is that you can maybe like, it's good to network with people for sure, but often you're stuck to do it yourself. So you're just like kind of SOL on that end.
Yeah, I totally get that. There are some situations like that I've definitely been in where you're like, well, we got to make it work. So
Yeah, you have no choice. You got no choice. Whatever the situation is, you just got to power through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this episode was awesome. I think that they just showed a lot of grit. They showed a lot of determination. and I can't wait to get into more of the. I want to hear more perspective from the corporate people to be like, um, especially the one dude that Christian had to. Not that he's like head to head with him or anything, but he had to kind of maybe butt heads with a little bit just to make that dude realize the potential of the show. And then like the writer doing like the gun training was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought that I can see how experience is definitely going to make you think about something different. Like for example, one thing that's really easy to think about is like if you've ever worked a job, um, say like lawn maintenance or something, and now you're driving past lawns and you just end up looking at lawns now. You know what I mean? Like
You just see them differently.
yeah, yeah, you start thinking about them in like a more technical way because this is a field that you've worked in now. Or if you're a pool tech person, you start looking at pools. You're like, oh, that pool's gross, or that pool's super clean. Whatever it is, right? You start to look at things a little differently. So I think that her putting herself into that position really um, embellishes or complements her writing skill.
Yeah.
And the fact that nobody really told her to do it, she put it upon herself to do that shows a lot of initiative. Shows a lot of care for the project that she was getting involved in.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Staying on topic with this too. So like when she busted out that whole timeline, like that schedule, and it just like folded out. It just like blew my mind. Like for work, I'm a production coordinator, so I'm making schedules all the time for people, and just to see that they literally planned that far ahead and just how big of a scale that was just like wow.
I'm just like, what printer they use to print that thing? That thing's pretty big.
No, it's just like all taped together.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah,
it
no,
was one
that was
piece.
incredible. I was like, wow.
It was definitely one piece. She just unrolled it. Yeah, I don't really know what I have to say about this episode. It was there was a lot to it, and I just think I don't know. It's I still have a lot of curiosities. That's honestly what I can say from this one. I think that I said maybe most of the things I wanted to say throughout. Like I thought it was cool that the Fortiche team didn't show their team the
video,
sad video from Christian. Um, but they still told their team that they were being let go. So I'm interested to see how that happened. Yeah, I've got a lot of questions about some of the things that they did show in this episode. Oh, and by the way, that business guy's name that Christian had to kind of butt heads with is Nicolo. His name is Nicolo. So, very interested to see Nicolo's kind of take on things, and I can't wait to learn more about. I believe Melinda. That's the woman, the blonde woman who I was saying that she's got those like mom vibes.
Yes. Yeah.
Very caring for the team and stuff like that. And I can't wait to learn more about her and what she did specifically to get the team more rejuvenated and more kind of aligned on the same track and everything like that. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm already can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys will have to let us know your favorite moments and episodes. Sorry, your favorite moments from this episode and this reaction. And let us know if you work in the industry, if you're trying to get into the industry. What if you just think what was your favorite part of this in general? And if you are in the video game industry, like what of a million jobs are you a part of? It could be like you do music for the video game industry. Like there's so many things, right? It doesn't have to. Yeah, I don't just want people to be like, oh, or people only to think, oh, if I'm not an artist or I'm not a dev, I can't be a part of, or an animator, I can't be part of the video game industry, right? It's something that I honestly, I'll tell you guys right now. Since episode 1, I got so motivated by things Christian was saying that for a long time in my life I wanted to be a part of the video game industry, but I had the doubts because I don't code and I don't draw, and I don't animate probably because I don't draw and I don't code. So I just started to do some research and find out there's a lot more jobs in the video game industry. So there's many different avenues to get in. It's very competitive, of course, but I think that for me personally, it would be the cherry on top of all the skills that I've been slowly compiling over the last 6 years or whatever, or even more than that, as a business owner and a creative before that. And I would love to somehow contribute to a project like this one day.
Yeah.
That would be super cool. Like, again, it doesn't. I don't know what I'd be doing, even if it's like the producers are important, the voice actors are important. All the texts that are behind the scenes, or even the people making the Bridging the Rift series here, the actual that cinematography team,
Yeah.
they're super important. So there is so much that goes into it, and so many jobs that none of us hear about that are very important to the end product. And I think that I just want to say hats off to them too, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So with that, we'll wrap it up there. Again, let us know your favorite moments from this episode, your favorite things, and if you're looking to get into the gaming industry or anything like that. And as always, please like, share, and especially subscribe if you are enjoying us on this series and you're looking forward to part 3 of Bridging the Rift. And as always, we will see you in the next one. All right, bye.
Bye.